Okay, so last week we talked about values. A value is a desire is something that you want, you think will make you happy um, at a specific point in time. But a value is something that goes through your whole life that you believe will always make you happy. It's a kind of thing. A desire is a specific thing. Um, you might want to hear a certain song come on the radio, but the value that you are pursuing is interest or fun. You enjoy that song. Um, So this week we are going to talk about prioritizing values. Prioritizing is a tier 2 vocabulary word, which means to evaluate things to rank them from most important to least important. Okay, but to review from last week, the values of our soul inside us, the deep, deep values, are learning new things. All humans are obsessed with learning. We all want to be interested or diverted or have fun. That's what, as kids like to say, I prefer interest because it's a bigger category. And morality. We all want to be treated fairly, and we want the people around us to be treated fairly, rewarded for being good, respected for not doing either, and maybe punished for being bad. That is part of morality. Although we all have different attitudes on how much punishment is enough. Another set of values, another kind of value, and just like the soul ones, these have to do with ourselves. These are private values in ourselves, but another set of very important values to us is how much we value ourselves, how much we esteem ourselves, and of course we call that self-esteem. We hyphenate it and make it into a word. Feeling that you are going to be successful in the future is confidence. Feeling that you've done good things and have been successful in the past is a sense of achievement. And the belief that you have that other people think you are valuable is called respect, the respect of others. All three are important. Another category. Now we're outside our head and we're talking about our relationships with actual other people. Our relationship ones. I called it relationship last week exclusively, but this week I wanted to add a tier 2 vocabulary word in because I realized it was a good opportunity. The word interpersonal. We can see AL at the end here. We can see AL at the end here that lets us know it's an adjective. We talked about how herb becomes herbal by adding the AL suffix to the end. So and then we see personal. So personal means having to do with private stuff, with you as an individual, not you as a citizen or a student or a kid. Your personal life. Inter means between. So interpersonal means between two people in a private sense. So you can see how it means the same thing as relationship. It's a synonym. And the three categories of important people that we value just because we value them are friends, family, and romantic partners. We might value the respect of our teachers or coworkers, but that's about respect. That's not necessarily about an interpersonal relationship. Okay, and then there are public values. And this is done by the code. You can see it go down the line, the Mrs. PE. And this is something that a number of you guys are familiar with because other teachers throughout the school teach it, which is great. The Mrs. PE is about values that matter when you're having public arguments. You're a voter, or you're planning a project, you're doing your job at work. And they are time, education, health, money, responsibility, safety, patriotism, and the environment. Okay, so now this week we are going to talk about how you yourself are going to rank your values. Not all these things have to matter the same amount to everyone. You might be very, very serious and committed to helping the environment, and less so about like money. You might think that money is less important than helping the environment, or you might think that money is the ultimate value for you out in public, and that everything should be, everything that you do that's good, you should be paid for. You might, if you're a soldier, you might value responsibility, your duty to your brother soldiers and sister soldiers, or patriotism. You might say, I fight, and I base my life around the idea of protecting my native country, which I love very much, and that's a totally legitimate value. Different people will rank these differently, and that's natural and good. We need people that value different things in this world. All right, but you want to examine how you yourself are going to rank your values. And so we're going to read a bunch of things. We're going to talk about how people in different cultures value different things more highly. Different cultures are always very useful to us, not because we care about people in different cultures. We might or we might not. We all should value learning about different cultures, though, because they help teach us about ourselves, and they help us see ourselves as an outsider. And then we can look at ourselves more objectively and maybe make better decisions. We can steal their good ideas because you can't retain ideas like that. And we can avoid their mistakes if we think they're making mistakes. Um, we also want to examine things where people making a mistake in ranking their values damage their happiness, where people choose, I don't know, money over love, or love over money, or where at the beginning, and this is where stories come in. Stories are amazing for this. In the beginning, the main character or the person, if it's a true thing, values one thing, but at the end they learn that they had it wrong and they were made unhappy by that. And then they learn to value another thing more highly. And then lastly, on Friday, we're going to make an argument, gathering together all the evidence that we found about what we think teens should value most highly. And so that's the week coming up. I hope it interests you. It certainly is interesting to me. If it doesn't interest you, then maybe you're not human, which is totally cool. But you got to let me know, because then I'll design a separate course for robots. All right, have a good one. Thank you for listening.